Hello there guys, it's Joey and this is a requested spell set for the solar goddess Brigid, or Brigid, depending on your pronunciation. And this was a request to create certain spell items for the Celtic goddess Brigid at the summer solstice, or high summer, midsummer, and really bring in those solar energies, that fiery side of her. So I have a pre-existing energy for Brigid. Actually, thinking about it before we go forward, for the lady whose set it is, there are going to be the 3 votives that you requested. The last one is just setting. I just wanted to get this video recorded while it was still light. Right, so on the store already there is a energy which I feel connects to the goddess Brigid very much as I see her, and so I took the energies of that and kind of cranked them up a notch, and it felt like it flowed naturally. It was basically amplifying the solar aspects, tweaking a little bit, changing a little bit of what I felt worked for the energy which I associate with the goddess Brigid, and then taking that to a more solar place and just sort of shifting the focus. So the energy of the goddess Brigid, who rules over healing, poetry and smithing, and is attributed with the power of the spoken word, particularly sacred to the Celtic bard tradition. In my mind, the thing that comes to the fore is her being entwined with forms of alchemy, the ability to infuse and change all different forms of matter with magic. In smithing, the alchemic process can be mundane as well as magical, as items come together from separate parts and grow into something greater still. It is said that the mightiest of Celtic weapons were infused with magic and led their bearers to great victory. In healing, the alchemy comes from potions and herbs, with wellness and recovery being the ultimate result. In poetry and song, the bard infuses the spoken or sung word with personal magic, so their songs take flight, inspiring the hearts of many, recording history in oral form, and teaching humanity the moral lessons of our forebearers. And really bringing those energies into focus is what I believe encompasses the energy of the Celtic goddess Brigid. And there is this alchemy is kind of centre stage whenever I am thinking of her. Sorry, I just noticed the swan feather was down there and I thought, oh, how synchronistic. There's been a lot of synchronicity lately, so let's just pop that there. That's mine. I've only got one, I'm afraid, so it's mine. And she has this wondrous energy of infusing everything around her with magic, and I thought, well, I don't want to venture too far away from that feel, that idea, because I like that when working with Brigid and working with her energy within the set that already exists. So how can we infuse that into a set which is particularly for her at midsummer, and it's just sort of cranking the heat right up. It's moving the energy through the scope of the summer solstice, moving to fire. I really enjoy her myths about her flaming arrows of justice, because it shows her a little bit of her fiery side, that, you know, is not just about healing. And even when you look at things like healing, you realise you have to understand both sides. You have to know how to poison in order to know how to heal, how to harm and how to heal, and the balance of all things. And I think a lot of people dismiss Brigid as being a little bit lighter and fluffier, and it's just not the case. I don't think any of the Celtic gods are fluffy at all, but she has a real fire, a real passion, and she's a real creatrix within her own energy systems, and I wanted all of that to be infused with the particular set in front of you, but for it just to be just a bit warmer, just a bit hotter, just a bit fierier than the previous spell range. So I was looking at the aesthetic of the other one, and I was like, I don't want to venture too far, so I want you to be able to see the similarities, but it to also shift. So it's more fire, it's more individual, it's more solstice, it's more about celebrating that high summer energy. And so I shall focus on the cauldron for starters, because it's the easiest example of this. The spell cauldron basically reflects the other spell cauldron. It has the same, I don't want to say it has the same aesthetic completely because it doesn't, but it has the same individual parts. It's just that the process of alchemy was different. So the heat was up a bit higher, so the result is slightly different, and I really, really like that because it works within the scope of Brigid's alchemaic processes and of her infusing things with her energy. So if you have ever bought a Brigid candle or spell cauldron or if you've looked on the store, it will look a little bit like this one. However, the cauldron is a different colour, the rose is a different colour. I'm going to focus on the rose and talk about that as an example, and then like some of the herbs are different within the actual cauldron. The glitter, the shimmy is the same because that solar aspect is present in the perhaps slightly softer version of this Brigid energy that's already on the store. This one is a little bit like Brigid with her armour on, like she's been smithing, she's got her armour on, she's taking no prisoners, she's ready, and I can kind of get that vibe actually of seeing her in gold armour. I can visualise that quite strongly. I quite like that image. So here you see we have a rose again, and there is a rose. I will just shimmy you, shimmy, on the original, but it's much lighter, and this one is a little bit more burnished, a little bit more golden, a little bit more, almost a little bit more passionate. You know, it's like moving from the bride into, it's almost maiden into motherhood energy, like that sort of self-sovereignty, that sort of power. And there is a little bit more of a power here, and there is a little bit more of a sovereignty, a little bit more of a take charge with those fiery sides of those energies. And it's just looking at different energies and aspects within one goddess. All of these energies exist within her energy. So I really like how it follows the thread, but it's not the same. Then we'll have a look at the votive. I think, yeah. This is a good one because you can see. Can you see how the rays of sun move through the? Yeah, that's lovely. And then it reflects the spell cauldron again with the shimmy. And last but not least is the spell oil. Now, I love this oil. I really love it. I think it's beautiful. It's very warm and yet pretty. It's fiery yet delicate, and it strikes the balance, and I was really happy with it. This is actually what I created first, and it sort of sparked the feeling of the rest of the solar Brigid energies. So like I said, there will be three votives. I'm not going to grab the other one. The other one's just, I've just moved the other one out of the way. So there are going to be 3 votives as requested. And yeah, and I hope you really like it. I've got it done this weekend ASAP because I know we're rapidly marching towards midsummer, and I wanted to get it ready for you. So that's the Solar Goddess Brigid spell set, and many blessings.